Christians celebrate the birth of Jesus each year on December 25th, a day known to all as Christmas.
Was Jesus actually born on December 25th?
We don't really know. There weren't exactly great records kept in those days, so there's no birth certificate we can look at. The authors of the Gospels make no mention of the specific calendar day that Jesus was born. And anyway, people didn't usually celebrate birthdays back then. The early Christians seemed much more interested in remembering when Jesus died and was resurrected.
So why do we say December 25th is the day he was born?
Well, first of all, it isn't December 25th for all Christians. In many Orthodox countries like Russia, they still use the Julian calendar, so their Christmas falls on January 7th. But explaining the difference between the Julian and Gregorian calendars is a completely different video. Back to your question. How did December 25th become the day we celebrate Jesus' birthday? It took a while to get there. For the first 300 years or so after Jesus, the Roman government actively persecuted Christians, so the early church didn't really get around to figuring out when they should celebrate Jesus' birth. Once the Emperor Constantine legalized Christianity, the idea of celebrating Jesus' birth took hold. Some people think that the Romans decided to replace a pagan winter solstice celebration that took place on December 25th with Christmas, which, by the way, is short for Christ's Mass. But there are some other possible explanations as well. For one thing, it was apparently already accepted by the year 300 that the Annunciation, which is when the Archangel Gabriel appeared to the Virgin Mary and gave her the news that she would be the mother of the Lord, happened around March 25th. 9 months from March 25th is December 25th, so the timing works out. There's also another interesting theory that ties into Scripture. Jesus said in John chapter 8, verse 12, "I am the light of the world." John the Baptist, his cousin, said in John chapter 3, verse 30, "I must decrease, he must increase." Keeping in mind these two passages, let's look at the patterns of the sun in the northern hemisphere. The longest day, or the day with the most sunlight, occurs in mid-June, and the shortest day occurs in mid-December. There are exactly 6 months between those two dates. We also know from the Gospels that John the Baptist was born 6 months before Jesus. So the early Christians marked John's birthday at the summer solstice, at which point the amount of sunlight begins decreasing each day until December 25th, when the amount of sunlight begins increasing again. This is a pretty cool analogy, but it only works in the northern hemisphere. If you live on the southern half of the globe, then Christmas actually falls on the longest day of the year, in the middle of summer. But whether you celebrate Christmas in the dark of the winter or the bright light of summer, Christmas is definitely the most wonderful time of the year.